this show had so much potential. This could have been the greatest show of all time. Why did it? Oh my god, you guys don't even understand, bro. Like, ugh. I saw a video this morning of George R. R. Martin saying like, hey man, if you read the books, you would know that we could have went until like season 13. We could have done like 12 to 13, maybe even 14 seasons of the show, but the showrunners / writers, the showrunners and the writers, D&D, like they do both. They're the showrunners and they're the writers. And he's like, they just wanted to get out of there, But we could have done like 12 to 14 seasons. And he's like, the whole time since season 1 and 2, D&D said, hey, we only want to do 7 seasons. I fought for 10. Then we settled at 8. So he's like, you know what? They got what they want. They're the ones actually working towards it. So, that's fine. But, I mean, I think it's just such a shame that you have such an amazing show based on these books. And it has the potential to be the greatest TV show of all time. If you're a writer or showrunner for it, you already know you're making bank. So it's such a shame that they fleshed it out for all these seasons, and then in the last season, they're like, okay, yeah, we just want to get rid of the show, and let's just like tie up all these loose ends, and let's not include all this other extra lore, and let's just finish it off in 6 episodes, just so we can move on to our Star Wars thing. Like, how much money do you need? Like, I would rather have Game of Thrones money, which is stinking rich, and then a legacy of writing and running the greatest TV show of all time, rather than ending it off on such a shit way, taking that money and then securing a bag for Star Wars. Like, how much money do you need, man? You could have had the greatest TV show of all time. Another thing with me is I didn't really have any expectations going into the season. Like, we had a 2-year break. A lot of people watched the show in that 2-year break. Game of Thrones gained a lot of fans. But for me, it was like, in that 2-year break, I became less invested in the show. Like, I was just like, okay, whatever. And then when episode 1 came, I was like, okay, cool. And then after episode 1, I was hyped for the rest of the season. But I didn't really have any expectations. I don't have any expectations when it comes to entertainment. Like movies, TV shows, music, games. Just even in life, I don't really have high expectations anymore. Because every time I've had high expectations, I've just been disappointed. So I think that kind of helped. Like, a lot of people that I talked to had really big expectations for the last season, and they were very disappointed. Look, I had some big expectations too. Like, in the 2-year hiatus, I would always think about how cool Season 8 would be. Not so much, but here and there I would. And I thought Season 8 was going to be more about, like, Jon Snow versus the Night King, and then Bran versus the Night King. I thought we would see more of, like, Bran's visions, or, like, Bran going back in time, or, like, something like that. I thought it was going to be some cool shit like that. There's that theory of, like, Bran being the Night King. So there's, like, all this cool stuff that I thought was going to happen in Season 8, and none of it happened. Like, Bran didn't do shit, and then it just ends up with him on the throne. So, I don't know. And to be honest, like, I didn't mind the way episode 3 ended, but I did think that the White Walkers were gonna play a bigger role. Like, the White Walkers didn't kill anyone, dude. The Night King didn't do shit. I thought he was gonna be such a big, character. I thought, the whole Game of Thrones thing was just a distraction. I thought the show was gonna be about the living versus the dead, but it really was, the Game of Thrones at the end of the day. So, but this is the way George R. R. Martin wanted it to end. So, here's the thing. I like the way George R. R. Martin wanted it to end. I just don't like the way the showrunners and the writers got to his ending. And I think it's going to be a lot more, obviously it's going to be a lot more fleshed out in the books. We're going to get the lead up to the ending that the actual author of the story wants us to have. So Arya killing the Night King, the White Walkers, their story ending very abruptly, or like Jon Snow, just the whole season saying, she is my queen. I don't want it. I never have. Like, that shit isn't going to be a problem. Going from A to F isn't going to be a problem in the books. Like, all the problems that we're seeing with the season 8 of the show, we're not going to have with the books, because there won't be any, like, yeah, you know what? we got 6 episodes. Let's just wrap this up. I want to go work on Star Wars. We're not gonna have any of that BS. So I actually bought the books. I bought the box set. It's like 5 books. But in summary, fuck D&D for rushing and half-assing the ending to what could have been, or what I still think is like the greatest TV show of all time. People loved Game of Thrones because it was fleshed out, and it was just the build-up for everything made the payoff so much better. But when you finish the show off on 6 episodes, just like skipping over all these cool things, and just you're pretty much just putting in major plot points, and that's it. Then obviously it's gonna make up for having a shitty season.